Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Daysi DIY. Today I'm gonna share with you guys an easy and beautiful Christmas DIYs. I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Let's start with the first project. I'm gonna be using this sign that I got at Dollar Tree, and the first thing I'm gonna remove the image, and I just want to show you how easy it was to remove the image for this sign. Sometimes they're a little bit harder to remove the image, but don't worry. If you guys don't want to remove your image, you guys can use the back of the sign to recreate this project. And to paint it, we're using this Rust-Oleum paint on color white. I got this paint at Amazon, or you guys can get it at Walmart, or you guys can use any paint. So you guys can see I didn't want to cover the sign all the way because we're gonna be painting the edges of the sign, and for that I just use the painter's tape to cover the part that we paint. And to paint the sides, I'm just using craft white chalkboard paint on color ink. This paint I got it at Dollar Tree, and also with the same paint I just put a little bit on that side so we can cover it. And for me it's more easy just to use my finger. You guys can use like a small brush to paint it, and once it's completely dry I just remove the pieces of the painter's tape. And you guys see in this part where I remove the pieces of the painter tape, it kind of come out the paint, but it was just really simple fix. I just went over with a little bit of the same paint, and it was really simple fix. And also I decided to create this chiplet look that I love to create, and I just create 4 lines. And once I create the lines, I went over with my pencil, and I always mention that I always trace my lines 2 or 3 times so they can be darker. So once you distress it, it's way easy. And I just want to show you with the finger, it's easy to distress it, but I love this way better, this technique, to use a wet paper towel, and it's really simple to distress it. And I just want to take a moment to mention that today we're taking part in the Christmas in July collab that is being hosted by the amazing Liyana from Liyana DIYs, and her co-host for this month. We have 3 talented friends. The first one is the Crafty Quinn Megan, the second one is the Crafty Katie, and the third one is Indiani Annie Jones. And all these talented friends that they're participating with us today. In my description box below I will link it down, the link of their channels and also the link of the playlist. I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, please don't forget to give us a big thumbs up. Let's go back again with the project. I'm gonna be using this painter stick that I got from Amazon, and I just cut 2 pieces of the side of the sign, and I just use a piece of sandpaper just to sand the edges. And to paint it, I'm gonna be using this Waverly paint that I got at Walmart, and I just use a piece of this bud sponge so we can paint it. I love to use these pieces of the bud sponge because you don't use that much paint, or if you guys want to, you guys can use a brush. And once they're completely dry, I decide to use again the piece of sandpaper just to distress the pieces a little bit so it can show the wood under that I had. It's really beautiful once we distress it. And also with the same piece of the bud sponge, I just went over on the sign and distressed it just in a few parts, especially on the part that we didn't paint, so it can give this high-end look to the wood sign. And I also decide with a piece of sandpaper just to remove a little bit of the paint on the edges, and I just love it once I did this step. So here comes the fun part. We're gonna glue the 2 pieces of the painter sticks on the top, and for that I'm using a combination of wood glue and hot glue for a strong hold. If you guys not in the rush, you guys can just use wood glue for permanent hold. I'm gonna be using this beautiful snowman that I got last year, and I'm pretty sure you guys see this beautiful snowman. So I'm gonna remove just the hanger that hold the 3 pieces of the body of the snowman because it was a little bit bigger for my sign, and I was thinking, I'm like, okay, I just want to remove those pieces so we can make it a little bit smaller so it can fit in our sign. The reason why I decided to use a little bit of the glue so it can hold it on place and to secure the pieces way better on the back, I just grabbed a piece of that jute twine and I just tie it really well on the back, and with the remaining piece I just cut it, and to make sure that it holds really well the pieces on the back, I just use a little bit of the hot glue, and once we're done we're just gonna glue the beautiful snowman on the top, and I just use a little bit of the hot glue. But right now I'm thinking, because it has a hanger on the top, you guys can just use like a thumbnail to just put it on the top and just paint it on color black, or you guys can put like a small hanger and you guys can just use the sign for other things, or if you guys want to, you guys can just use X6000 for permanent hold too. The next thing, I'm gonna be using this farmhouse ribbon that I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna show you how easy and simple I create my bows. And I just create two bows so I can place it on the middle of the snowman, and I just use a little bit of the glue to glue it. Also, I decided to remove this little part of that greenery that I had on the hat. I didn't like it very well, so I'm like, let me grab another few pieces of the greenery and just to place it on the side. And also, if you guys want to, you guys can place like any color of berries that you guys want to. I think like color red, it will look really beautiful. I decided to use just the white ones, and I want to show you, if you guys want to, you guys can place like buttons on the top of the bows that we create. I just want to give you a few examples. You guys can decide if you guys want to place any buttons. I think it looks adorable. And also on the top of the painter sticks, I also decided to use a little bit of the Bristolian paint to distress it a little bit, and also on the edges. And that was the only thing that I did. And I didn't remove the hanger of the sign. I just leave the same hanger. And this is how it looks, our first project. Please let me know what do you think about this adorable snowman. For the next project, I'm going to be using one wood sign that I got from Dollar Tree. And here's the item number, just in case if you guys need it. And to paint it, I'm going to be using this Craft Wise chalkboard paint on color ink. I did one coat and I just let it dry. And to distress a little bit more the sign, I just used the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white, and I just went over just in a few parts so we can distress the sign a little bit. The next thing, we're going to be using this stencil that I got from Amazon. And to hold the stencil, I just grabbed two pieces of the painter's tape, and I'm just using the same paint, the Rust-Oleum chalk paint, and I just did first one coat and I just let it dry, and once it was dry I went over and did a second coat so it can be a little bit dark, the letters. And once we're done, we're just gonna remove the stencil, and I'm gonna be using the same leaves that they have the stencil, but I'm gonna be using it just on the side of the sign, and I'm just gonna repeat the same step. I'm gonna be using these beautiful bows that I got from Dollar General, and I just choose this beautiful one, and I'm just gonna be placing it on the top. And I'm gonna be using these beautiful green ears that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna be just placing a few pieces. I'm just gonna be using a little bit of hot glue to glue it, and this is how it looks. Our project once we're done, it turned out really beautiful. This sign, I love it. And also the other thing that I did in the middle, I just grabbed one button that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just placed it on the middle. It was the touch that I need, but please let me know what do you guys think. For the next project, I want to show you something really easy. I know sometimes it's really hard to find wood signs that we love from Dollar Tree, or if you guys don't have any wood signs on hand, I just want to show you this project. It was made of this circle made of piece of cardboard, and to paint it, I'm going to be using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry, and I just want to show you the way that I painted. I didn't cover it all the way because I want the cardboard to show a little bit so we can give this effect that it's wood. The next thing we're doing, we're gonna create lines, and for that I just grab my pencil and my ruler and I just create a few lines. I always love to mark my lines twice so they can be a little bit dark, and once we're done, we're just gonna be distressing a little bit of the lines. I'm going to be using another beautiful stencil, and I just grabbed 2 pieces of the painter's tape so we can hold it in place. And to paint the letters, I'm using this beautiful color red, and I just did first one coat, and once it's a little bit dry, I went over and did a second coat so they can be a little bit dark, the color. And to paint the leaves, I used the Waverly Paint on Color Moss. I did one coat, and to paint the berries, I used the same paint on color red, and I did 2 coats. And once we're done, we're just gonna remove the piece of painter's tape, and we're gonna remove the stencil. And once it's completely dry, I grab a piece of sandpaper and I just went over on the top to distress a little bit the letters and also all around the leaves. And I went over with a Waverly anti-wax just to distress it a little bit on the edges. I'm really sorry, I lost the footage. And here's the part where I show you that I grab one piece of this jute cord and I just place it all around so it can has a finished look. And once I was covering all around the sign with the remaining piece, I just tried to create like a hanger so we can hang this beautiful sign. And with my scissors, I just cut it, and with hot glue, I just hold it in place the other piece. It turned out really beautiful how we create this beautiful hanger. And here's the part where I'm gonna show you how I create this beautiful bow. I just grab this piece of burlap ribbon and I grab a piece of jute twine and I just wrap it so we can give the shape of the bow. And I grab another piece of ribbon and I just create a simple bow, and I just use hot glue to put the 2 pieces together, and it turned out really beautiful, the bow. And I did the same step with the the other one. And once we're done, I'm gonna be placing it on the top, and I just use a little bit of hot glue just to glue it. And I decide to use another beautiful pine cones to place it on the top, and I grab one piece of these red berries and I just place it in the middle. And to give this effect that they have is snow, I just use the same paint, and it turned out really beautiful once we give this effect of the snow. I love it. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really beautiful. I just love it. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this other project? For our next DIY, I just removed this wreath from a ranger that I had like the two pieces together, and I just used it for other project, and I had it on hand and I was not pretty sure what to do with this wreath. We're gonna call it like that. I'm not sure how to call it, you know. I decided to use the Rust-Oleum paint to paint it. I did 2 coats so we can cover really well the glitter. First I was thinking like just to remove the glitter with a piece of sandpaper, but it was kind of hard, you know. The other thing that we're going to be using this chalkboard that I got at Dollar Tree. It's really beautiful. I just love everything, but I decided to dark a little bit the piece of wood I had on the top, and for that I just used a little bit of the Waverly anti-wax. And also I just grabbed this greenery that I got from a Dollar Tree, and I just grabbed one piece, and I really love it because it gives this kind of look that it's snow. I just really love it. So I just got a few pieces and I just used a little bit of the hot glue to glue it. You guys can use like red berries. I think it will look really beautiful, but I was going with something white. I decided to grab a piece of sandpaper just to remove a little bit of the anti-wax so it can show the wood under a little bit more. And I just glued that wreath on the top with a little bit of the hot glue, but I think it's way better to use X6000 for permanent hold. I grabbed this Blye wood letter that I got from Dollar Tree, and it comes a few letters in a pack, and I just place it on the middle. And I think you guys can paint the letters as you preference, red, green. It will look beautiful, you know. I went just with the same anti-wax, and I distressed the wreath just on a few parts a little bit. And I used a piece of this jute twine so we can hang this adorable sign. And I just want to show you how I placed the jute twine. And with the remaining piece, I just used my scissors to cut it. And I just glued that piece of jute twine on the back to make sure it holds really well the piece of jute twine. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really adorable. I just love it. And I just want to show you, I should paint the letters with this Waverly chalk paint on color moss. I think it will look way better than letters. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this other project? For our last project, I'm going to be using another wood sign that I got at my Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove the hanger and also all the embellishment that I had on the top. The eyes of the bunny, make sure that you don't throw those pieces away because you guys can reuse it, and also these little feet. And for this sign, it was really easy to remove that image too. You guys can see how easy it was. And the paint that I'm using is this Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I just love to do this technique that I use a little bit of the paint, but you guys can use any technique that you guys love to, or you guys can cover the sign all the way. So I just did one coat and I just put it to a side and let it dry completely. I'm gonna create just a few lines on the top, and once I mark my lines twice, I just went over with a piece of paper towel and I just went over and I distressed the lines with the color pencils. You guys can create this chipla look too, and they look really beautiful, the lines. And once we're done, I went over with the Waverly Anti-Wax just to distress it a little bit more, because for my eyes, they were not happy how it turned out the sign. I'm going to be using this wall sticker that I got at my Dollar Tree. It's really beautiful. I just love it, and I'm like, it will look amazing to create a project so I can display this beautiful wall sign in my house. I just placed first the words, but I didn't place it all the way because first I just make sure I just centered the sticker on the sign, and once I was okay, I just went with my hand and stick really well the sticker. And also I decided to do one color Mod Podge on the top to seal really well the stickers so they can have a permanent hold, because I create one sign and I didn't do this step and the sticker fell down. So that's the reason why I decided to do one color Mod Podge and I just let it dry completely. I'm gonna be using 2 pieces of the painter sticks, and I just cut it to the side of the wood sign, and also I cut the handle, and I just kind of eyeball it. You guys can just measure if you guys want to. And once I cut him, I just grab a piece of sandpaper just to sand it really well, the edges of the painter sticks. And to paint it, I'm going to be using this Waverly Anti-Wax, and I just wet my sponge a little bit because I didn't want my pieces to be really dark. And once they're completely dry, I grab a piece of sandpaper just to remove a little bit of the anti-wax so we can see the wood it's under. I'm gonna do a combination of wood glue and hot glue to glue the 2 pieces of that painter stick, and I just place one on each side. And I just want to show you the way that I glue the pieces. I left this gap between the sign and the painter stick so we can glue the handle, and also at the same time it can have that support, to glue the handle. And to reinforce it a little bit better, I just put more hot glue on the back. You guys can grab this piece of that nautical rope and just grab 2 pieces and create it as a hanger. I think it will look beautiful, but I decided to grab this wire that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just create a simple hangers and I just glue it on the back. But I think it's way better to use E6000 for permanent hold. I grabbed this green that I got at Walmart, and I just grabbed a few pieces and I just place it on one side. And you guys can place these red berries. I think it will look really beautiful. I decided to use these white berries, and I just grabbed a few pieces and I just place it on the top of the greenery. And that's the only thing that I did for this sign. It turned out really beautiful. I just love it. I just want to know, with all the projects that I create for you guys today, which one it was your favorite. And please don't forget to see all the videos that all these talented friends that they're participating with us. Thank you so much, Liyana, for hosting this wonderful collab. So that was it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified every time that I upload new video. And please don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.